Bhavna and you're watching India Today. Today I'm joined by Adarsh Gourav, who will be next seen in Extrapolations, which is going streaming on Apple TV Plus. And I am here very happy to be joined by Adarsh. I have to firstly say, Adarsh, that I was very, very impressed by your talent in the White Tiger, because when I watched it, I was like, oh my god, he's such a great talent. And now, after having watched you perform in Extrapolations, I'm just amazed at the range that you can show as an actor as well. But I want to know, is that a conscious choice to be able to pick these characters very, because if anyone looks at the little body of work right now that you've done, each character, although I mean the way you're portraying it on screen is very different, to me at least. Is it a conscious choice to be able to pick those?
Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you for doing this. You know, conscious choice in the sense that, my attempt is to be exploring as many different lives as I can as possible. With Extrapolations, Scott Burns was show running it. It was for Apple TV Plus, and Richie Mehta was directing the episode. So when I read the episode and I read the journey of my character, I was very excited to do it. The kind of journey that he undertakes, the background that he comes from, the dystopian world that it's part of. I always wanted to do a sci-fi show, so I think this is the closest that I've come to doing one.
Yeah.
I mean, to shoot for the show was an adventure in itself, because we shot in the middle of the pandemic. I traveled to America for it, went to New York. It was a journey, and I'm so thankful, and I have so much gratitude to everybody involved in this show for giving me this opportunity.
You know, before I come to your character and the way you even approached it in Extrapolations, I want to know, what is it with Adarsh and intense roles? I mean, is it something that comes very naturally to you, that you're like, intense role hai, chalo kar lete hain?
No, it's nothing like that. I feel like I always just gravitate towards material that's well written and that's well researched, and that excites me. And it's just so happened that all the characters I've played have been intense.
Yeah.
But, I would love to do a role that's comedic in nature. I don't have any restrictions as such as an actor or in my thought. But yeah, like, I feel again to come back to Extrapolations, the character is intense, the journey is intense, but even in that intensity, there are so many beautiful light moments that, both my character, it's called Gourav, and Neil, that's played by Gaz, we break out of that intensity to sort of discuss the mundanity in our lives and speak about what we want from our lives. And they're very small little things that might seem trivial but so important in a world that's falling apart.
So where do you get this understanding, like you said, of socioeconomics and political culture, and to be able to portray that authentically on screen? Because you're very young.
Yeah.
Right? And I have met a lot of young actors who it's very difficult to understand these nuances, the way you do, especially when you're even, like, for example, I again go back to the White Tiger, because like I said before the camera started rolling, there are certain things which you speak in silence. And again, with Gourav, I found certain elements where you're just like, you're not speaking, but there's so much that you could still understand, just by the gaze, by the way you're looking at someone, or even when you're holding a weapon, or just like, I want to understand, where do you find these nuances?
India is such a diverse country, and every 100 kilometers that you travel, the country changes, the language changes, the culture changes. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in representing accurately. So, like, I believe in, like, being out on the streets and continuously keeping my eyes and ears open, like, whether it's doing things myself or whether even just like going in, probably sitting at a bus stop and like just like looking around me, because I feel like you get and you understand so much about the country by being on the streets. I think that's what's important, because that's where the real country lives. People who travel to work, people who are selling vegetables, people who sit in their shops, people who are cleaning the city. So I feel that's what I get attracted towards. So even when I'm not acting or working, like, I love just being out in the open by myself or with people, doesn't matter, but I'm interested in people. So yeah, like, I guess that's what helps me in sort of understanding the person I'm playing.
How does it feel, Gourav? Because all your projects have this international connect, and the time is right, I believe. Today everything is global.
Absolutely.
To be associated with a project which also has the likes of Kit Harrington and Meryl Streep and
Yeah.
others playing really prominent roles, to
Yeah.
be able to have your name
Yeah.
along with them. How
Yeah.
does that feel?
It's incredible, man. I can't tell you, because at the time of doing the project, I didn't even know that these people were doing other episodes. So, right, like my episode, I play the central character in it, and of course,
Of
there's
course, 8 episodes,
yeah,
so 8 different
so eight
stories.
eight different stories and different cast members. But I had the privilege of working with Kerry Russell, Cocaine Bear, just came out, and Gaz Chaudhary, who plays Neil, and Waris Ahluwalia. So yeah, like I feel like I'm very, very privileged to sort of share not screen space, but be part of the same anthology.
Yes.
And to see my name next to like people like Meryl Streep and Tahar Rahim and Forrest Whitaker. I've been like part of the reason why I got gravitated towards acting was because of some of these people. When I saw their films, and I felt that, wow, these guys are actually using their power to tell these stories that nobody knows of. That's what pulled me towards this. So I feel I'm very, very lucky to have done this so early on, and I only hope, and I hope that I get more opportunities like this.
I'm sure you will. I told you already, right? Like to me, you're an international star. I mean, and it's surely only based on your talent that I'm talking about, because you've proved that. In the projects that you have done. But I also want to know, does it ever work against you though in India? Because यहाँ पे लोगों को वही लग रहा होगा कि यार इसने ये projects कर लिए हैं, अब ये commercial, ये ज़्यादा commercial तो नहीं हो गया? ऐसे कभी, has it ever worked like that for you?
No, not really. In fact, if anything that's happened, I feel like after White Tiger, there have been more people who've sort of, obviously found out about me and have believed in me and believed in my talent. So I feel it's been like the biggest event of my life, the White Tiger, and Extrapolations. I only hope that it will fuel that. And yeah, I'm very, very thankful to both of these projects to like making, because of these projects, they have led in turn to me working in projects like Ho Gaye Hum Kahan, like Guns and Gulabs. And if White Tiger wasn't there, none of this would have happened, So
I want to come back to your other projects as well, but even with Extrapolations, Gaurav is not an easy character. There are moments where I feel that, oh my god, what was it like on set on that particular day? Especially when you have to show vulnerability, when you are literally shaken by seeing the loss, and to imbibe all those feelings. How was it for you? I mean, are you someone who takes back those elements home when you're off like camera, or is it easy for you to switch on and off?
I mean, I've never really tried being switching on and switching off, and I don't quite understand that, because for me, when I play a person, it's very personal. So it has to be personal. Art is very personal. Whether it's fine art, whether it's a painting that you create, whether it's a film that you're part of, whether it's a song you're writing, it has to come from a personal space, and it will affect you personally. It's not possible that it can't. So of course, there are things that you do take back home, that you do think about when you're sleeping, or maybe even after 6 months. But the process in itself was very enjoyable. It was very light, because Richie is a very light person. He loves to joke around. He loves to like keep the situation as light as possible. And it's very necessary you do that when you're dealing with an intense subject like this, right? Because if everything is too intense, then like it gets to you, and then you can't like perform. So I feel the process in itself for me was very light, very enjoyable, and we were very clear about where the characters we were playing were coming from. Gaz and me had a beautiful bond even off camera. We spoke so much about our lives to each other. We trusted each other as actors, which is very important. And especially in a show that's based on camaraderie, I feel like the factor of trust plays such an important factor. So yeah, like it was just about enjoying ourselves and being in the moment and really listening to each other.
But was there a day in particular which was difficult, and how do you manage those days?
I mean, see, night shifts for me are always a nightmare. So after 12:31 in the night, like it's a fight. So I remember.
Are you a early sleeper?
I'm the kind of guy, if I have a house party at my house, I go to sleep at 11 saying bye to everybody. So like, I'm just like, I can't be somebody who's up entertaining guests till like 3 o'clock, So for me, night shifts are a task. But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, Gaz was there, Richie was there, Jaime the DOP. Like all of us had become really good friends. So you joke around, you distract each other, and drink lots of coffee. And
yeah, I mean, you have to survive eventually because I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I am also someone.
But the part that was particularly exciting for me in Extrapolations was the part where we filmed inside the studios in New York.
Right.
Because a lot of the driving shots in the film, and I'm sure nobody will realize it, are inside a studio in New York.
Now that you're saying, I'm just like, oh my god.
So like when I'm driving the truck, 60-70% of it is shot inside a studio.
Oh.
So I'm sitting inside a stationary truck and all around me are these 360-degree screens that are playing actual footage of the roads and off. So it gives you the impression that the truck is constantly moving, that cars are moving around you. But I'm actually just sitting on the steering wheel. And so when I was prepping for it, when I went to meet these widows in Nagpur, I also drove a truck inside a dhaba. Because obviously I don't have a license and I can't go and drive on the streets. But I asked the truck driver if it's possible for me just to take a small round of the dhaba if he sat next to me. Because I just wanted to understand the feeling of a steering wheel. It's very heavy and it's not the same as driving a car. And the grip is also different and the way you hold the gear is different. It's a wider grip. So it's almost like that, you know. So which is why I wanted to understand that. So yeah, so that when I would do it even on a stationary truck, it would look believable.
See, now you get it why I say that he does go to extra lengths and he doesn't want to accept that. But you know, these are small things I know for an actor and it is something that everyone must do. But I also know of people who don't do it. So for me, I feel that this is amazing. But now I want to also ask you about your upcoming projects. You're reuniting with Raj after the White Panther for Gulabs and Guns.
Guns and Gulabs.
Guns and Gulabs, which is Raj and DK again, whom I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So I want to know a bit, tell me a bit about that. How has that turned out? Again, are you playing an intense character or this is going to be light for us?
I won't comment on the intensity, but it's a beautiful show. It's a pulp crime drama that's based in the 80s in central India. Great writing, great characters. Great cast. As you said, I'm reuniting with Raj Bhai again. It's always a privilege and a joy to work with him. He's a very giving actor, a very good human being. So it's great to be around him. There's Dulquer Salman, there's Gulshan Devaiya, there's Satish sir.
But tell me a bit about Satish sir also. You worked with him and of course he passed away recently. But I want to know if you have any memory to share because we always want to just remember him for the person that he is.
Satish sir is a guy who always had like, मतलब समय कम पड़ जाता था इतनी कहानियाँ होती थी उनके पास. Like every time you met him, he had a new story to tell. He was the most lively guy in any room. He was the youngest man in any room you would put him in. Always full of stories, always full of laughter. And I can barely believe that I won't be able to hug him and say hi to him. You know, it's just weird because we wished each other on Holi too. And I was looking forward to meeting him once I came back from Nasik. And yeah, I guess it just makes you realize how uncertain life is.
Lastly, Kho Gaye Hum Kahan is also one of the projects which I am expecting you to see in a very different avatar.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting any level of intensity there, but fun and like.
I'm not killing anybody in Kho Gaye Hum Kahan.
What was that experience? You've rapped?
Yeah, we rapped, yeah.
So what was that like?
It was so good. It was so amazing because I'm also so thankful to Zoya and Arjun and Reema to give me this opportunity to play a kid from Bandra, you know, a side of me that I didn't get the chance to put across earlier because most of the parts that I've played have been parts from smaller towns and this part's very different from all of that. It's a very good film, great script again, like it centers around what digital media does to people and does to friendships. And Ananya and Siddhant were the best co-actors that I've ever worked with. Incredibly humble, very giving, very entertaining co-actors to have. We had a great bond, great time even off camera.
I'm sure, because
Ananya's really like one of the loveliest people I've met. She's so genuine and so real. And I can't wait for everybody to see the film, you know, like we had so much fun.
I'm also really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Because you are part of it.
Thanks.
And lastly, I want to know, I mean, you have dabbled with serious subjects, now lighter subjects with Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, in the sense the approach is lighter than the other projects that you have done.
Yeah.
What next for you? I mean, what is it that you really want to experiment with and do?
There is no specific story as such, you know.
But like something which is on the first two, like the top two on your bucket list, if you ever wanted.
I just want to be part of a really good horror film and a really good romantic film, because I feel both haven't been done in India in a while.
Yeah.
So I'd want to be a part of like either of these genres for sure.
Right.
So like this is a message out to everybody who's seeing this interview. If somebody has a good script, please send it to me.
And any director you would like to collaborate with?
I would love to work with Neeraj Khewan. Yeah, I love Neeraj Khewan. I love Konkana. So if Konkana or Neeraj sir are directing something, I'd love to work with them.
Is there already something in pipeline?
Unfortunately not.
Okay, then it will happen for
I hope
sure.
so.
I'm sure about that. But thank you so much, Adarsh.
Thanks.
I hope that people get to see more of your talent.
Thank you.
Through Apple TV Plus.
Perfect.
You see the struggle.
Well said. I feel you.
But I genuinely hope that people can get to see more of your talent through streaming platforms and the films that are coming.
Thanks, Bhavna. Thanks.